Okay, I'm going to just get those to you. All right, open the meeting. I'd like to introduce Brianne Torrey from Jackson Ski Touring. We have in common Prospect Farm and Gray's Inn property. We found one problem with a bridge here on Gray's Inn. I think you're aware of it. It's eroded out. We were,
Broken.
yeah, we'll work with, where that's a trail that we're using. I mean, we'd even work with the ski touring on something like that, or, or find a better spot, give some suggestions. I don't know if we'll actually build a bridge or pay for a bridge, but
We'll build
we'll.
it. We have a good trail crew that can take care of that.
We're willing to work with stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions? Because I've got a few about Prospect. The one is the parking lot. Did you ever find out whether or not that's going to be a summer, winter parking lot, or?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't actually double checked with
Yeah.
the landowner since we last spoke,
Right.
but my understanding is that once we built it, it was for winter use only.
What's
But I
going to
don't
happen
think
when
that it
people
was-
use it, park there? I mean, it's a big parking lot. It's just sitting
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, he had
Yeah.
visions of parking his camper there
Yeah.
and almost not living there all summer. But I think that,
Yeah, but he will run into people
Yeah.
thinking it's a
So we
parking
can
lot.
post that
All right.
as no parking, or we can talk to him again, because I don't think that he would
Do you have a
have
contact
a huge problem.
with Mr. Valentine, or one of the Valentines, or no? Or?
Not on me, but yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Would you? Okay,
my
maybe
photos.
we should talk to him at some time. We've thought about putting in a parking lot up at the two gates and right inside the right-hand gate. It's the Forest Service gate, but it's town property,
Yes.
and it would make sense to improve the parking there, get 10 or so
The Forest
spots.
Service is talking about putting a parking lot up there as well.
Yeah,
So,
for many
There's
years.
talk.
Yeah, they-
Yeah.
Sort of like a bypass.
yeah, we've been hearing
I think
them.
they're pretty close to closing on that, though. So you might
On
wanna
Fa-
talk
on
to
Fan?
Mike. Yeah, you
Yeah.
might want to talk to
Okay.
Mike Martin, because when we put that in, they actually came in and looked at that with us. And I know that Bailey, the trails manager, I think they're getting close to that, so
That means, what?
if you have a,
That'd be neat. Yeah.
yeah.
Second question is, there is a rumor that someone was going to donate a building to the cross-country ski. Is that, does that rumor exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do have a very generous donor
Huh.
who is looking to put a substantial contribution to help us to
Okay.
build a cabin of sorts.
Where, do you have the location?
We have
No.
4 prospective locations,
Okay.
one of them being in Prospect Farm.
Prospect? Okay. That,
On your
Yeah.
plans.
that one, I believe in order to get an okay, it has to be voted on by the town.
Yes, and the town selectmen
Yeah.
and all of you,
Yeah, I
yeah.
imagine
That's still in
that
the very
town
early
meeting.
stages.
Okay.
I think that's a warrant article.
Yeah, that's a warrant article, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're still in the very early stages, but,
Okay. Oh, nice.
yep, they're gonna
Yeah.
hopefully follow through with that, and
All
it'll
right.
be really exciting.
Will stay with us. I mean, if it were on town property, we'd be involved.
What are the,
Yeah, we'll definitely keep.
what are the other spots? Can
Yeah.
you say, or is it not?
Yeah.
It's still a little, top secret, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I mean, we're just kind of looking at, our trail network, and, we really want to, because we had lost Prospect Farm due to logging for so many years. This was actually my first year, like, really
Right.
seeing all of it.
Yeah.
Since I've worked there, so it's a beautiful area, it's great for, climate change issues that we're facing, so,
Mhm.
we definitely want to start utilizing that area more.
So what
Yeah.
would be the purpose of the building?
Yeah.
It would serve as a warming hut, so to speak, is very similar to what's out on the Ellis River, but a little bit larger. Playing around with the ideas of some minimal food service, and possibly even lodging opportunity.
So we're talking like a AMC hut type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's-
yeah, and then, summer, year-round, summer use for weddings, camping, renting, recreation.
And do you know anything else? The only other issue that I know of that we were involved with the ski touring in the last year was there was a lot of erosion on the river at Eagle.
Yes.
Have they done anything? Have you guys moved forward?
We haven't. Tom's retirement and my transition, it's definitely a top priority for us.
Yeah.
We know we need to go through some pretty heavy permitting, because it's a wild,
Yeah, engineering.
scenic river.
Yeah.
We have a couple of ideas to slow it down, but of course it all has to go through
Yeah.
the proper
Alright.
channels. So we're hoping to put that on the books for this year, if not this year, absolutely by next summer, because it's quite a threat
Yeah.
to that major bridge that we have specifically, and then all the flooding that goes on Eagle.
And anyone else with any?
What are your involvement on?
Well, if not a lot with Eagle, but what we can do is, on behalf of, like we did, we wrote a letter on behalf of the town to the DES, explaining that it was a problem and that it needs to be dealt with. So we probably wouldn't be involved a whole lot other than advice. We do know, soil scientist that does that kind of work,
Okay.
as well as I'm going to get what he's called wrong, but the gentleman over in Littleton who's a river specialist, let's call him that. Yeah, something like a fluviologist. Or, yeah. Yeah, but so we can maybe
Yeah, that
help
would be
you,
great.
point you in
That
the
would
right
be
direction, that kind of
Very
thing.
helpful, yeah.
And then the town engineer, he's been involved in working on the river as well.
What's his name?
Burr Phillips, good person to,
Yeah, good
touch
person to know.
bases with.
It's in Bartlett, right?
Yeah, he lives in Bartlett, Burr.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's our town engineer. Anyone else have any?
Thinking.
I know here,
Larry, I'm sorry, do you want public comments?
just a minute, involving Brianne, sure. Yeah, I just wanted Brianne to, be able to leave, shortly.
Yeah, my name's Penny Miller. I have a long history with Prospect Farm, of just going up there and recreating, for over 25 years now. And a couple of major concerns that I have is the amount of traffic that has increased on Carter Notch Road with the installation of 2 parking lots is enormous. And I would love to see, now that you're in the new position, I would love to see a new relationship of the town with Jackson Ski Touring in terms of being forthright and transparent as a benefit of Prospect Farm to community members. I request that every time it comes out in e-news, your newsletter, on the website, that it's stated that Jackson residents can ski up there for free at any time. To find that out has been very, very painful and difficult, and very few people are aware of that. Also, it was extremely difficult to find out that there actually is a season pass available for Prospect Farm for a resident. Again, very difficult to find out.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
It's, the town of Jackson, we have good taxes, high taxes that we've logged it, we've surveyed it, we manage the forest, we deal with the Forest Service on logging, using it as access to other Forest Service lands. It's a big investment and it's a huge resource for the town, for this community. I'd like to see it shared more with the community and not necessarily for just the benefit of ski touring. For example, if I have guests visiting, I would like, as a taxpayer, I feel as though I should be able to go and ski up there and bring my guests and be able to ski without being charged a ticket for up there. I feel as though it's my tax dollars that are paying for those improvements up there. The other thing that concerns me is and you mentioned that this climate change has greatly affected ski touring over the years. They've always been up there, they've always had those trails, you know, they kind of pulled them into their little trail network map so that they, but as the climate change started to happen and snow started to come later and later and less of it, ski touring very expanded into Prospect Farm and started to lay claim to more trails. Then as Jackson really logged, we increased the road infrastructure up there and the logging roads. Jackson Ski Touring laid claim to those. I always, probably one of the greatest joys of my life is to go skiing with my dogs. And now there's one dog-friendly trail on town land. There's a couple. Well, down here, I meant up there.
Yes, yep, up there is Wildcat Valley Trail that goes out what we call 5A, Orchard and UST, that whole lower span of Prospect is off.
When I went to Tom, not this past winter, but the winter before, and I said, I just don't understand why I cannot go skiing on those trails with my dog. And the response I got was very juvenile. And it was, well, if you want to go up there and ruin the trails, you can. But, a lot of people don't understand that those trails are open to ATVs, they're open to snowmobiles. Anybody can go up there and go ATVing in the middle of the winter. Did you know that?
No, is that
They
the
are-
town?
they
It's
are
on the
actually-
Forest- Once they cross on Forest Service. then
That's
it's not
correct.
part.
Yeah,
But
they
Prospect
can.
Farm, you can.
You can.
So, I don't think the town knows what a huge resource it is up there. And I'd like to see it more open and people in charge now.
Well,
People can be
they're-
aware
they're
that
good
they can get a
points.
pass up there. They don't have to pay to just go skiing up there. And I'd like to see it all dog friendly.
So this is some of the reason why we asked Brianne here today, is maybe we can forge a new relationship and,
Absolutely.
especially on town lands. And maybe that's a good issue, maybe, is what is allowed for residents on town land. And, maybe that's something we need to talk to them about.
But the
Thanks.
discussion of a new cabin up there with possible food services and lodging, it's come across to me like possibly more interaction, more traffic, and more conflict with the residents in terms of being able to go up there with their dogs and recreate, or snowmobiles or ATVs.
Those are your concerns.
Do you want to add anything?
I just have a question about the bridge on Eagle, and if the
Oh,
homeowner had
all
been
right.
consulted. I mean,
Um,
unrelated to.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question, go ahead. I think it's a good time.
The major bridge coming down from the Eagle Mountain House.
Right. I just wondered if you're working with the landowner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a cost share involved in that.
So we hit you with a fair amount of things already here.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
yeah, it is good, because I think the relationship may have just, because Tom was in the position for so long, perhaps the relationship just, became expected. And so maybe it's a good time that the town, reach out to the Jackson Ski Touring and, yeah.
One other question.
Sure.
Do I see you folks or the selectmen about getting a copy of the written agreement between ski touring and the town for Prospect Farm?
Good question.
I assume there's a written agreement in terms.
There must be. I
Probably
would
buried
have,
in the basement.
yeah, it's buried, yeah, that's a possibility. I would go to the office and ask. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
How did you eventually figure it out? How did you find out that,
History.
yeah?
Yeah, I don't know where you'd even begin. I think the town office, try the girls, they'll be at a loss because they've only been here a year or so, but that must exist.
Yeah, I guess I would recommend that
Yeah.
if the Conservation Commission, and I don't know the roles, if they're overseeing Prospect Farm and the management of it, then they should be involved with a yearly agreement.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone, they don't sign an agreement forever. I mean, it has to get renewed
Renewed.
every
You
10
know,
years.
if there's ever a
20 years.
hydraulic, if there's a hydraulic spill up there, who's liable, things like that.
We can ask one of the past selectmen maybe,
Yeah, I can
who've
look
probably
at it.
dealt with this, or Tom, one or the other. Yeah, I don't know where to begin though, as far as, but you're right. It's a good
I don't
point.
even know if there is a written agreement.
There must be.
There must
You would
Yeah,
think there would.
there must
Do
be.
you have records at Jackson Ski Touring that might
We
document
do.
all the easements and that sort of thing?
Yes, yeah, I have not, I've been looking through a lot of those files lately, and I haven't seen one with the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission, but
I
Yeah.
don't think it would be.
They're
Well, I don't think
Well,
it would
it
be
is-
the town.
it is-
It would be
the
with
town
that,
taxes.
yeah.
It would be through the town, George, we haven't always managed it.
It might help. The deed that Jackson wound up with was given by Edith Baker to her son, and when he died, it would be given to the town. But it said he gave it, it was known as Kent Lodge yet, but it said in Jackson, to the inhabitants of the town of Jackson, New Hampshire, to be further held by it for a public park as part of a forest reserve, so-called, and as a material to my husband, to acknowledge a memorial to my husband. So it basically sets out there what you can use it for.
But
There
as,
is some legal
Right.
interpretation.
but as far as the contract with Jackson Ski Touring,
But I'm saying,
yeah, right,
Town would have to reserve it, I would assume, for the landscape to the town.
right.
Are there any deviations?
Anyone else have anything for bring in?
Getting back to Penny's point about making people more aware of what town residents can ski on, would it be possible to mark that on the maps whenever,
Absolutely.
yeah, on the ski touring maps or something like that? They can be highlighted a different color or have a different symbol or something? Or can we post it on the Jackson Town website or something like that?
Or on the
Okay.
Jackson Ski Touring
Or Jackson,
website.
Or the Jackson Ski
Yeah.
Touring website? Is that, I mean, I don't know if that's possible. Could we do something like that?
That is, yeah, yeah, absolutely, we could definitely
Well,
make it more clear.
Yeah, make sure of your, get a clear policy and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is your,
property here.
yeah,
It's 32 acres. It pretty much begins at the Ice Pond Brook, right at the edge of the parking lot, and goes straight back and over to, say, the fire department and so.
okay, so when it
and
hits
so-
Thornhill Road? is
When
that-
it hits Thorn Hill, the property in the back,
Yeah, Thorn Hill.
so there's two loops here. I don't know what you call them, and that's a little bit of a problem. We just named a trail.
Signage issue?
Yeah, a little bit, because we found that up at Prospect. But there's two loops, and so if we're here, there's this loop and there's Thornhill.
Yeah.
And then there, we did this loop.
Right.
So we're using your bottom loop.
This is the old Wiggleworth
Yeah.
Trail.
Oh, and that's probably the town line.
Yeah, well,
The property line,
just
pretty
below it,
much,
just below
is
it.
the Wiggleworth. Yeah, so there's 32 acres here.
But it doesn't actually touch Thornhill Road, does it?
No, but it does
Thornhill.
Thornhill property
Close
is
to
right
it,
there.
Yeah.
And there's, so what we wanted to do was just, mark some of the things. There's a dam, a bridge, the apple orchard we cleared out, and we put in two views, one of Washington and one of Carter.
And don't forget the mystery barn.
And the Mystery House, which is the name of the trail, there's a huge foundation right here.
Nobody knows.
That's what it is, so. But that's one of the issues, is we've named this one thing. I don't know what you've named it, or you haven't, because this isn't even on your map yet.
Right,
But that, so one of the determinations, like we're redoing the kiosk at Prospect Farm, we decided to not put your map on there because it just confuses
Right.
things because the names are different.
Right.
So, and you can put your map right next to it.
Right.
So, anyone else?
What names are different?
I don't know, Don Johnson told me, I'm going by what he said. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's quite possible.
That would be confusing.
Yeah, that would be something we could easily fix.
Yeah.
You know, I just call them by the ski.
Yeah, I think
Now,
you just.
If you say like the Forest Service Road, no one knows which one
Right.
is the town road.
Right.
Right,
If you
Boggy
say the
Brook
Boggy
Road.
Brook
They're like,
you're
oh, the Hall Trail. There's two of them,
yeah, so it's
unfortunately.
wonky, I call it 5A.
Okay, so
So they got a third name now.
we've got, at least we gave you some things to think about, certainly
Yeah,
with the
that's
town.
great.
And actually, Penny, thank you very much for some of your input there. They are good issues.
Hey, can I ask Penny one question? I didn't hear when they asked how you got the information. Did you just say history?
History, Yeah, if you ask Danny, if you ask B. Davis, I don't know if you know George, but it's.
Okay.
It's written down somewhere, it's not
Yeah.
written on, there's a document on the website, which it's not in, but people have known for years, you come down here and you just get the key or the combination, and you go up and you can go dirt biking or whatever.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So, I'm not sure where it's written down, but it's always been.
yeah.
Thanks, Brianna.
Great, well, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
of
Bree.
See you again.
See you around town.
Yes, and we'll be in touch. Look forward to working with you guys
Okay,
more closely.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just go over the minutes quick, and then we'll hit George and the Prospect Farm kiosk. So I edited them a little bit, sent them back to Margaret, and then I lost them.
Lost them?
I lost my edits. I don't know if I didn't save them. I went to get them out, and they're just gone.
That's funny, because when I opened the one that you mailed back to me,
Yeah.
I told Tom, I was like, he said he made corrections, but it looks almost identical to me, so. I
So
don't
I
think
made
he's-
corrections, thought I sent you the corrections, and I sent you the same thing
I-
back?
Yes, I mean, I think I would have noticed if there was
Shoot.
more changes.
So I think I know what I did. I did it inside of my email, and I made all the corrections in there, and I thought they were good, but apparently not, so I just did it again 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
One of the, do you want to save changes?
Apparently, he doesn't know how to use the computer is the,
This is not a discussion we need to have now because you already had it and I wasn't there. But
Okay.
for the Jackson ski touring trails, it says to leave them off so they don't get too confusing.
Correct.
Was it agreed that we could at least like put something that just says connects to, like on our map, just have something that says connects to Jackson ski touring? Like we don't need to put the name on there or anything, but at least that, because that was, I remember at one point
Yeah.
someone came to
Yeah.
us like 3 years ago and was like,
Dexter.
yeah, it was Dexter, that's right. He's like, we need to make the trails connect on there because no one knows
Yeah,
where to
yeah.
go. And-
he was gonna show us like where every trail went, you know, that's on the property, that where they're going to. He was
Yeah.
gonna put in, you know, to Wildcat Mountain or whatever, you know, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Well,
if it's too confusing in the name change, could we at least just put a dash or something that just
Yeah.
says connects to
Yeah,
Jackson Ski
I-
Touring?
Also,
he's gonna show up next meeting
Okay.
with all the work, and George and he are working on it. George and Don Johnson, the forester, and they've already done a lot. But they're gonna show up next meeting with it, and then we can edit it and
Okay.
do that, and
I mean, I understand,
Yeah.
but we don't need to make, put everything on there, but I thought at least like, saying
Yeah,
it connects to the trails.
One of
so
the
people
other
at least have an idea
suggestions
and can
was-
reference
Is
the other
that,
map.
is it leaving off the names of the ski touring trails or just showing the roads?
boy.
Yeah, so I wasn't aware that that was a suggestion we had made, but my feeling is that makes it more confusing, because now you walk up a trail, and there's obviously a trail of some sort there, but it's not
But
marked.
it's not marked.
Well,
then
and
you go like-
especially if what we just talked about is actually the case, and there's now open access during the winter time to all of those trails up there for Jackson residents, then especially, I think they
Yeah.
would need to be on the map,
Do we have
because they
names
are
for them?
open.
I'm sorry?
Do we have separate names for them?
No.
Well, I guess what we'll have to do is go get a Jackson ski touring map
Yeah.
and put it next to our map
I have several.
next month when he brings the final thing here. And then if we want to make changes, we can make changes.
Yeah, we don't
We're
need
not going to
we
do
don't
it
need to
tonight.
rush into the signage
Right.
situation.
Yeah,
We want
well-
to do it right this time.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track. So let's keep going. Minutes, have everyone,
How do you feel about that?
have we read the minutes? And I told Debbie this would be this meeting will go very quickly tonight. Don't worry. Good luck. Just order me a hamburger.
Which
good
bridge is
motivation.
collapsing over there?
The closest, the one that goes
The
to
one
the
that you just
west.
put in?
Yeah, the one that we all looked at and said,
It's going to collapse.
this doesn't meet
It's
any of the
collapsing.
rules that we have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one they
It's-
just,
it's-
that one
it's
they
falling
just
It
put in.
just been
Yeah.
right on
exactly as we said. It-
Loam, 3 feet
I
of
didn't think
loam
it happened
with a
rapidly.
undercutting stream, where like,
Big water this past.
if I did that, we'd be,
A motion to approve, unless there's any amendments?
Well, should we amend the
Okay.
the concern that Mike had about
Um,
leaving off the trails? We are
I guess it's just suggested, it
It's
doesn't
just
mean we're going
suggested at
to.
this point.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Motion
Motion
to,
to approve.
Second.
all in favor? Good. Done. Public comment period, I guess, is already over, since they came and left. George, you got anything on the Prospect kiosk?
Just a couple of things.
Okay.
Don and I have met and exchanged a couple emails. This morning I got a note back from him. He was taken down by a big hefty spring cold.
Oh,
Went to a doctor and says, I hope I'm better soon. So we do plan to come at the next meeting.
okay.
He's doing more of the mapping. My contribution would be primarily a narrative of the history of some of it.
Great.
The question on photos, I understand what we talked earlier about, not having the photos on the map. My thought would be,
Well, not the photos of the views.
well, the buildings at the ones, for instance, the Baker's, the one that's predominantly shown, showed at the location of the Baker House itself. So you have some perspective of what kind of life it was,
Yeah.
where it is. Dick Quinn showed, hopefully I can catch up with his family, a bundle of photos. One that showed from the Baker property, all clear to Eden White House.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's really cool.
That would be-
So
yeah.
my thought would be those kind of things, that specific cellar holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would better tie into the history of it.
I like that.
Yeah, nice.
So that's primarily, a couple of thoughts I looked at, and I haven't talked to Dawn. This is we looked at different maps. This is an aerodynamic map. But what it gives you is a better pictorial look at the terrain. This is a 250,000 map for navigating. They have the same thing in a 1 to 50,000, which would be more applicable to this kind of a display. If I can track them down, look on the web, and they don't show them. I'll go down to P's and see if I can get one out of there. Flick on it, move down there. So that is the other thing. I'm hoping to get a guy that has some history of Camp Gout to include that in there. So there's some lineage of it. And then I understand, and hopefully Ray Abbott may know the key, that it was pretty well clear cut somewhere after Ezra Baker died, and a note I found says it was 1954.
Yeah, I think it was Bob and Ken Davis.
Was it the Davises?
I believe it was, I thought I heard it was Bob.
Bob and Ken.
Ken.
Davis.
Yeah, you can maybe just ask.
Ray probably
Yeah.
knew pretty good. He was a selectman during that time as well.
Because I'm,
So that's kind of the gist of things that, Don sent me up a good lineage of dates starting back in, I think, 70, 74. And so we can kind of work that in. There's a couple of books out. I'm going to talk to Warren Shoemaker. He may have some stuff in there. So that's kind of the thrust of it. Listen, you got any thoughts you'd like to see, or?
no, I have one question that's not technically on the property, but it's across from your driveway. That old trail that goes up and goes to that little flume. What was that for? Was that a old...
You know, best I know, it was part of a logging trail, first off. The normal course that was run by our grad folks there went up, you know, when you hit that opening to the left there.
Yep.
That was sold off in 1954, I think, to my uncle. It's kind of an interesting thing. They staked out where they wanted to, less than an acre. But they didn't have a tape, they had a rope. So they measured the rope, so many rope lengths from here to there. So that's what started the thing. And it's still owned privately by
Yeah.
one guy right there. But anyway, backing off, the road went up to the right, over to the property line at Brooks,
Yeah,
And then it curves down and hits a plateau.
yeah.
And then it goes up over the ridge line. And when you get to the top, I don't know if you've been there.
I've been there a lot. It's been a few years.
It's right up against a pretty high rock.
Yeah,
Because we looked at it, Robin Ronco, who works with Bob Johnson, we were up there, he's laid out the force plan for me up there. And we looked at how to get to the backside. He thought that maybe some timber in there, but I'm not worried about that. So that's how it originally went.
it's for logging. Yeah, it's a neat trail,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get much use anymore.
So anyway, that's kind of the structure we were looking at between Don and I. Hopefully we'll have something for you.
Great.
Go back there.
Thanks, George. So the next thing on our agenda is, well, quickly, Warren has sent us a letter from the Historic Society. I know the gist of it. It's what he'd like to do is put a sign on at the Wentworth Park. Here it is. Sorry. Dear Commissioners, we are writing to ask for consent to place signage in the small historic park opposite the Wentworth Resort on Carter Notch Road to designate the outline of the Jackson Falls Historic District that is registered on the National Register of Historic Places. The park has a number of signs of historic interest as well as the restored snow roller. The Jackson Falls District includes 17 structures, so he'd like to put them all on a sign and put it at the Wentworth Park. I told him that I would run by cost sharing on something like that, where we built the park, we paid for all the signage. He put the Historical Society put the roller, and they've maintained it. I told them that I would run it by the group, but as far as putting the sign there it's Wentworth's property, and it fits with what we've done there. But anyway, the houses are the Wentworth Castle, the 3 houses along the falls, the main Wentworth Resort, 6 Wentworth Resort cottages, the church, the old library, the stone bridge itself, the school, the town hall, and the Shapley House, which is the Boynton's house, the first one up on the right. They're all part of the historic district. He's the one who got that.
I thought there was already a sign there that said that. Am I wrong? I thought there was already a sign that says all that.
Yeah, but there's not one at each. He's
Where-
saying each location.
Oh, each location to have a sign.
Right, there is one that shows
Where
the
is that
number.
sign?
There's a sign, there's definitely a sign that sits there
Yeah.
that talks about the historic district and it
That-
names all those places. It's
Right.
like 1 through 16.
Right, the
Is it by
pastor
the
lived
snow
here.
roller?
Yeah, it's right by the snow roller.
Right, the pastor's house was here, the so-and-so.
That sign is there?
Maybe I'm making it up.
No, you're not.
I'm
Maybe
pretty sure I've
we-
seen a sign that said kind of what you just said.
Yeah, I don't, I want to say it's low, it's one of the,
Maybe by the old bridge.
It might
Yeah,
even
it
be facing
must
the
be.
church.
Damned if
I
I
think
know.
it- I think
God
it might
knows.
even be facing the church when you're looking at it.
But anyway, I'm not sure if he meant a sign for each of the properties or not. I thought he meant one sign
Yeah, that's what. it
with
said.
a kind of
Well, you said-
a pictorial map
Read
of
his,
the
read his
building.
letter, did it say sign? or
It says
sign?
sign
Yeah.
I didn't know.
with the outline
I
of,
don't-
I think he wants to put a map with the outline and of the buildings and maybe but nevertheless, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It really doesn't involve us, other than if we decide to help him pay for it. And I told him, as long as we don't have to make the sign, deal with the sign, put the sign in, and the Historical Society takes care of it, come back to us and ask us. And that was a good answer or no? No? You don't like that answer?
should we ask about this?
But I told him he needed
the
permission.
other
I can,
sign?
I drove by it on the way home, I can
Yeah.
jump out of the
Yeah,
car.
tell me
but
about
I
that.
could have sworn
No, I think you're right.
I don't know.
it says that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just list it, maybe it doesn't have like a map.
It doesn't map it out, I don't
Yeah,
think. I
and
think.
maybe that's what he wants, is but well, let's,
We'll take a look at
fine
it.
with us. I would back it with the selectmen if, it goes with the area. It has been put on the historic registry, those buildings, and
He would know better than I would if there's a sign that says
yeah,
that. I assume it's not there, he would know.
you got me now. I want to walk over.
Yeah, most stuff.
Okay.
Crazy.
So we're gaining here. We've got 3 items. Gray's Inn Trail signage. I want this done. This one's just nagging the hell out of me. We've talked about it. We were going to, and we didn't nail it down, but we were going to do little paper signs. One at the
Yeah,
bridge.
I got all that here.
And do you have verbiage or?
I have verbiage for 4 things. 4
Okay.
out of the 7. I did more than I couldn't remember because what I have is I've got the kiosk, and I drew like a couple of options there which I can
Right.
email out to people. But the kiosk, the ice pond, the vernal pool, the apple orchard, the Mystery Foundation, the view to Carter Notch, and then I have the glacial erratic that's back there too. So that's 7. I don't
Okay.
know
Can
how
you
many.
list those again?
The ice pond, dam
Dam.
site, the vernal pool, the apple orchard on the other side. Then I have just a small, one of them is just a small sign. We thought we would just put an arrow, essentially, that shows people where to turn
Right.
off of the ski trail, just so you don't miss the loop. A sign for the Mystery House, and then one for the view to Carter Notch.
And the glacial.
And the glacial erratic that's back there. And I had a couple ideas, because they're drawn kind of as I was in the car.
Yeah.
But essentially what I was thinking was, well, there's a couple different options, but I was thinking
Okay.
we could either do the map, so having the map here,
Yep.
and then the text here, and the text that I had was on the side of the map would be, "Welcome to the Mystery House Loop, named by the students of Jackson Grammar School for the unidentified foundation found along the path. The Mystery House Loop takes visitors on a half-mile loop through a typical northern forest. Enjoy your walk as the trail winds past cultural and historical sites, glacial erratics, something about trees. I thought there was a mature hemlock stand back there.
Huge pine.
Okay. And expansive views of the high summits. The Mystery House Loop is half-mile long and gains, I don't know, some amount of feet of elevation. Visitors should allow 45 minutes to wander the loop."
Yeah,
I like it.
So that's what would be there.
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty
so
good.
you just get somebody up with a GPS and then get the out.
Okay,
And
so
then-
we were kind of playing with the idea of maybe like having a picture like that.
So my other idea was,
Yeah.
instead of doing that, because that would be map, that welcome sentence, and then interpretive stops there, and then like, I didn't know because it was town land if we had to put like any kind of like hikes, safe hikes, like in 10 essentials. I didn't know, or if we needed to put like, this is a trash-free facility, carry out, or anything like that. So I didn't know. So there's that, or.
I
we
think
could
it's
do-
assumed.
It would be kind of nice to have a sign that says town property.
Well, that was what I wanted, is somewhere on it, is to have like,
Yeah, on the,
I didn't
I
know,
think there's
somewhere on
no
the
camping
thing.
allowed.
Town of Jackson, Parks and Rec, I don't know what the department's called. Town of Jackson, whatever, and then the logo.
Conservation Commission.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a separate thing.
so
And then,
you've got the actual wooden structure.
if you have the one
Oh, it
structure,
would
I
never
can-
fit that, I don't think.
Well, how big's the structure?
Just give them a wooden thing.
That's a structure.
Connie, did you make that or did
No,
No, I made it and he's making fun of me.
I fixed it.
So the other option would be picture, welcome, map, interpretive stops. Kind of like that.
Good.
I think
I-
But
And
then
what will the picture be of that?
well, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, of Gray's Inn.
It could be of Gray's Inn.
That would be kind of.
I think that's,
Yeah.
Used to be here.
yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking of
I would've-
something culturally like
the-
that,
the-
or the view, or the picture of the view, something that's
So-
continued PhD, and be like, oh, that's cool.
Well, they're gonna see the view.
I like your wording on it. If you can give me that, can somebody help me out here? If I wanted to get this reduced for the dam, okay, and where the bridge is and the dam right here, this used to be the dam right here. And there was a little covered bridge over it. Who can reduce that for me? Do I go to Minuteman Press? Do I go
Do
to?
you have a digital copy of it, or you just have?
Nah, that's what I've got.
Okay, they can scan it and reduce it. Yeah.
Right. So I go to someone like,
Staples.
Staples, any
Staples.
office supply place.
and then what I was thinking is just literally getting a piece of paper and then putting it in plastic, whatever you call it, coating it. Thank you, laminating.
Yeah. I don't. The one that I didn't do. I've got it for. I have little write-ups for almost all of them. The one that I didn't do was the ice pond dams, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
And the apple orchard. I mean, I can read about like sap
Could-
suckers on apple trees.
could I-
No, I don't know anything about that. Like, they grow apples here. Like, I don't So I, like those things that I just don't know. Like,
Yeah, well, we could,
Look up, you know.
Yeah.
Those are all
well, we
volunteer
could,
trees.
we could easily say something that, you know, hotels of that era
Yeah.
grew their own food.
Or
And-
They used to make their own booze.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably what
The apples probably did
The-
any number of things, breakfasts, pies,
Cider.
cider, I mean, it was
Wow, I didn't know
huge
that.
Yeah,
apples.
supposedly Johnny Appleseed was all about cider.
hard
Guys.
How do you feel about giving me your verbiage, me taking it down to,
yeah, that's fine.
and putting this together and getting little signs made up?
That's fine.
And I need the wooden
You can have
thing
it.
back.
I just moved it.
Did
the other
you
day.
put shingles on it?
I have, well, it only takes 2.
Can I,
Shingles.
can I suggest
Sure.
that you attach this and send it out, so if anybody's got any comments?
Comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send it to everybody along with, I'll send, I'll make it nicer.
Would you do that? Would you
Yeah,
email it?
I'll
to
scan
me?
and email that too.
Yeah.
So you have
Okay.
kind of what I was thinking in regards of the,
Okay.
the way the signs would look.
You've got a deadline, a couple of days. This one I want to put together. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it sounded good.
Yeah, we need to get these up. And just, but that's good. I'll take it to Staples and get a couple little ones made up, laminated, and then we can decide from there whether we're going to put them on a post or on a tree, or depending on where. You know, because some of us didn't like pressure-treated posts, some didn't like nailing into a tree. So we'll decide on that.
It's gonna be out through the laminated part. So-
Because the water just goes right in it.
Yeah.
You can get those things at Walmart.
Okay. I would, good. I'd love to see this done for July. That would be nice. Okay, where am I? Got a little confused here. We need 2 work sessions. What are we doing this weekend? What's everyone doing? Anybody got a day this weekend or no?
To a wedding in Vermont.
How about the next weekend? What's,
I'm away
or,
the whole soccer tournament.
Sunday afternoons,
what?
conceivably Sunday afternoons.
Anybody?
Not this weekend, but the following weekend. But what are you proposing?
Well,
I have limits.
We've got, yeah, well, I'm talking like 2 hours if we do anything.
What do you do?
We never do a work session more than 2 hours, and I'm not a, slave driver.
Right.
We need 2 different things. We need to attack the knotweed here. Yeah, we could spend less than an hour, probably, and just pull it and pull it and pull it, pile it onto
Get as
some
much wood as
plastic,
we can get out.
and see what we can do. Just put a dent in it. So that would finish that. And then over at the falls, we need to move the wood chips. And
I can do some of that. Yeah.
what I will do is we decided, and I like the idea with the ropes instead of, do you have any more of the little vegetation things? I'll go have copies made up.
Oh, yeah, I had some kicking around probably.
You can email that to me, can't you?
Oh, I don't know if I saved it electronically.
Oh,
but
okay.
I can hand you some more, I can make some more, I mean, it didn't take.
Okay, because I'll do the same thing. I'll go to Staples and have a dozen of them made or something like that. I'm sensing we need to put the ropes back up.
Yeah.
And I thought rope,
Guarantee it.
something nicer looking.
Yeah.
Right up by the bridge, too.
And are the wooden stakes okay, or should we get metal?
I think it's probably better in terms of the way it looks.
Okay, the wood.
Yeah,
Anybody
some
on
ones
that
are fine.
And rope, okay.
They're usually oak, so they're pretty rugged.
Okay, and then so we need a work session to move chips, to put up the ropes, and then make a decision that day as to, okay, what's our next step? Can we get rid of this path, and I think we could probably pick out 3 paths and target them, and just say, let's remove them. I already moved some huge branches into one, so hopefully they'll,
There are only 2 lady slippers there. I checked.
Huh?
2
Yeah.
lady
And
slippers.
that's,
Used to be like, a dozen or more.
and then we're going to get back to the article. I just talked to actually Kathy. I've sent everyone this article that Martha Margaret, sent around. In the paper this week was the identical article. They're doing the exact same thing to Lower Falls, except for they're closing Lower Falls. And the article it's almost identical. They're doing the exact same thing, reducing trails, bump, bump, bump. Yours is better written.
Thanks.
It's concise, it's to the point. The only thing I had asked was, let's get a title or a lead-in. And I was thinking of something like, and the reason I was thinking of this is what you just said about lady slippers, is the changes at the falls. I keep hearing from old local people that it's been the same since
Yeah.
1850.
B. Davis.
And it hasn't. And the reason it hasn't, and I found it in my own yard, I started raking in a wooded area, and I killed all my lady slippers. And I've stopped raking, I've let it go back, I've got lady slippers back. And it all happened within a couple of years, because I started raking and picking up more sticks and picking up more, and I made it more of a lawn than I made, and I
So
killed.
once you left everything.
And as soon as I left all the leaves, 2 years later, I got
Well, it's
sick.
like
I got the trilliums and the
Throwing
lady
the
slippers
throwing the
back.
brush into the
Or picking up all the
vernal
brush.
pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't take long for it to repopulate itself.
Self with eggs.
Yeah.
And so, the lead-in might be something as simple as, although the changes on the ground at the Jackson Falls area have been subtle and slow to occur, with the use of a landscape study, this is something you guys don't know, done by Alice Pepper in 1983, and I'll show it to you.
Oh,
And early,
Unbelievable.
she literally mapped every tree and every rock in 1983.
Where is
And
that thing?
we should have some copies here, we have other copies. But George Howard, sorry, Greg Howard. Greg Howard was literally able to look at the 1983 map and say, oh, that tree's still there, that tree's still there, that one's gone, this one's now 30 years older. And so, although the changes on the ground at the Jackson Falls area have been subtle and slow to occur, with the use of a landscape study done by Alice Pepper in 1983, and early photographs provided by Susan May, it became very obvious the increased number of footpaths and traffic have taken their toll on the area's ground cover and tree roots. Last year, the Conservation Commission hired North Country Soil Services to conduct the monitoring.
Sounds good, Larry.
And then that just, okay, so I'm going to shoot that off to,
If we ever did put signs up there, it sounds like you've got the maps and the pictures to put up there to get it, stay on the trails.
Yeah.
To be-
yeah,
Who
and
was
it,
Alice Pepper? Is that
Alice
her name?
Pepper.
Is she just a local resident?
local
or-
historian, kind of, and resident.
Some sort of landscaping course.
She was-
She did back, then, in the 80s.
No,
It's been
And-
around forever.
But she did,
It's impressive.
Yeah.
they might be here, they might be right there, but she did the top part of the falls, she did the middle section, and she did all the way to the bridge. She mapped every tree, every plant, every rock,
In color, too,
and
right?
in color, and
Yeah.
it's...
By hand?
By
Beech-
hand.
beech
Oh, it's
tree.
just,
No, it's-
it's brilliantly done, and it really was a help, so. Still don't have a date for one work session. What
One works
can
for
we do?
everybody else.
I know.
Can't do this weekend, but I
Can't
can
be
do the
this
following
weekend,
weekend.
and you guys aren't good for this weekend.
I could, I would,
Next.
if we get back early, I could do it on Sunday afternoon.
Next weekend? How about we,
I'm gone all Saturday and Sunday, and the
Because of-
following week at
for the
3 soccer
games.
tournaments.
14,
Okay.
15.
Maybe we can do 2 work sessions. Some
Yeah.
people can go to one, some people can go to the
Yeah.
other.
yeah, how
Can we
about,
put it in e-news too, and ask people from the town?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, because
What's that?
these minutes, these won't go out until after our next
Meeting.
meeting, right?
yeah,
So could we put a separate thing, I agree, in the e-news
For-
that
Yeah,
asks
let's
for
just put
Ask for
volunteers
volunteers.
for volunteers.
for
To move
whenever
wood
we
chips?
Yeah,
decide?
move wood chips and
okay.
whatever.
We can throw it in the bottom here. On Sunday,
The 15th,
I don't know, where's the calendar? I can't even see.
Are we gonna-
Today is
Today's the 2nd, I think.
Sunday the 8th.
This
Who can
coming
we
Sunday.
snag?
As far as I
Anybody?
know- As far as I know.
Not you, you and I,
Yeah.
Not you.
I gotta look at it, I
I'd
gotta
have
look
to
at
look.
it.
Yeah,
I have no
yeah,
idea.
I
For
know.
which date are you?
Sunday, this Sunday or no?
This
Sunday,
Probably, this Sunday, I don't know.
which would be
If we
the,
could get in even an hour,
What time are people thinking?
I'm not early,
I'm easy.
but
I'm an early person, but
We definitely would be back before noon.
At the
At the
earliest,
earliest.
yeah.
you sure you want to do this, coming back from a wedding? Yeah, don't do that. Don't,
Not
you
really.
sweat it off. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that to
Do the
yourselves.
following weekend.
Yeah,
Do
the
the-
following
Well,
weekend.
we can do the 15th.
Why don't we do the 15th?
What
Why don't
time
we
is
do
that?
Father's Day
Okay,
weekend?
and then I'll send emails to, because
What time
I'll
do you
never
wanna do
remember.
it? Yeah.
Somebody should send me an
You're the
email
one
to
that
remind me to
affects
send
it.
emails. We're
That's
talking
Mike also
15th
being a
at like
Sunday
father.
the 15th.
You'll be
What
being
time?
carried around in
What
a
time?
cart.
Two?
Pet Grace.
Good time.
Sunday 15th, 2? That's middle of the afternoon.
6:15, what time?
Sunday 15th at 2 p.m.?
2 p.m., all
we
right.
have a rain date.
Okay.
For a different time.
Rain or shine, my
For 2
friend.
p.m., I'll even buy pizza.
2 p.m.
Oh,
is actually
do it.
better
Oh.
for
I
me,
was
it's
gonna
nap
say,
time.
the only
2
thing,
p.m.
there might
For
be
my
a lot,
kids, that's actually,
there
that's
might be a
actually
lot
works
of
for me.
people there. That's the only
Sunday
thing.
at 2 p.m.
It's okay.
Is that okay?
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
because then we
We
can
can work
spread
around
the
it.
good word.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
it might be hard to park next to the wood chips pile, that's the only
Yeah,
thing.
we can
It is
work around it.
Okay.
handicap accessible spot.
We can go
Sunday,
at like 5
okay.
a.m. and mark it off.
Right.
And tell them to
Sunday,
get out of
June
there.
Bring
15th,
cattle cross.
2 p.m. I will write this at the
So-
very end of the
Okay,
message and I'll email it
so
to
that's
them
for the falls.
Yeah.
for the falls.
How about knotweed? Do we want to
Yeah,
schedule
knotweed.
that too?
I'm just trying to think.
I can, I'll
When is-
sneak over and kill some.
When is tick season over?
I was gonna,
It's never over.
Never.
Kick season?
I was gonna say we could try to do it independently.
Or
Yeah,
just do what about another Monday?
okay,
A Monday
Are you
evening?
just calling it and leaving it?
yeah.
Isn't that what we did
Yeah,
last time? Is that
well,
okay?
I'm
as long as you
usually
put it
free
on like a
Monday.
rock or plastic,
We just-
so it can't
Finish
regroup.
with plastic,
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
because all you need is a good rainstorm.
Could we do that for
windstorm, and you
July,
got
or is
stuff
that too
blowing
late
all over the place.
in the knotweed cycle?
No, you're pulling the roots anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what if we do it after the July meeting
okay.
on
And
July?
in the meantime, I'll get over there and I'll pull some.
We gotta make sure we don't.
I live next door, I don't mind,
So July
coming up.
7th is our next meeting, right? So
I think so.
July 7th at 6? If you want to advertise that one too?
Well, we're gonna,
Yeah, it'll be,
you mean make it part of the meeting?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, let's just do it. Yeah, make it part of the meeting. Let's
July
plan on,
7th.
Work session?
yeah,
July 7th at
Okay.
6 o'clock.
okay.
So we have,
Dress accordingly. Ticks.
Well, yeah, okay, 6.
or later,
Yeah, or after the
Yeah, I
meeting.
imagine the meeting tends to always
Be a little more than a half an hour.
okay.
Yeah, an hour probably. The only other thing was, you had mentioned people had said something about knotweed and spraying and
Yeah,
concerns.
For some reason, I've received like 3 calls.
Yeah, I've heard people very concerned that we're
Yeah.
killing
Okay.
it improperly.
Right.
Okay.
I had someone call me and say, when did they burn the side of Moody Farm Road to kill the knotweed? I said, I don't think they burned.
Oh,
That's what it looks like.
oh, because the
Is it all-
spraying killed it and
Yeah,
it's
I'll
laying
come by
down.
and take a look. And, I mean, I was
Oh,
like,
I haven't noticed.
Burning it doesn't kill it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helped it
it's
probably.
just the sprayed area by Bill
Well,
Wogish's.
yeah, I guess now that you say that, it hasn't come up, but that's
Right.
why, because they sprayed for
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Burning won't do it.
Well, regardless, I mean, he just felt like it was so like, whoa, why is this all brown? They must have burned, and it's been sprayed.
It's a bad match.
Yeah, that was a huge
Yeah, that was a
patch.
huge
Where's that patch? Which one
Well,
was that?
over by Bill Wogish's house.
Oh,
If you
okay.
go up past
Oh.
his house, right when you start to get towards the top of that
Oh,
first
okay.
little hill before the pond,
Yeah,
on the right
I
side.
haven't driven around. He's out of town, but he'll be back, Bill Wogish, on that note. And, he keeps telling me, yeah, but I keep missing him. He'll move the wood chips for us. In other words, we need him down at the bottom, that first table. He'll just come with his bucket and pick them up and move them. We may need more.
Right.
And is that a possibility from Ryman?
Yeah.
Okay, that was what he said.
The other knotweed concern was, we had always told, well, at least I had, and I thought we had as a group, said that the town had decided, or maybe it was the state, said that they couldn't spray the knotweed that was up on Green Hill Road right at Spruce Brook. where the Brooks live. Alan and Joanne Brooks live in a little white house. And then there's the bridge. There's knotweed. If you're going up, it's pretty heavy on the left-hand side.
Is it because of the water source?
Right, and then on the right-hand side, there's another patch. One of those patches got sprayed. I mean, it's not like, it's just an interesting
Yeah, it
point.
probably
because
shouldn't
we had-
have.
Well, I think if you look into the minutes or wherever it is, it says
Right.
that that location was chosen to not be sprayed, and here's the reasons why. So,
I would suggest for anybody like that to mention it to the selectmen, so that it doesn't happen again. So I think it was Phil and Jay and the sprayer they hired, didn't they go with?
yeah, I mean, I
something like
met
that?
with the guy who sprayed,
Yeah.
because he was,
Yeah.
they sprayed all over the place on Green Hill Road, and
And I don't know if there's any plans for this year. Does anyone? I
well,
don't
the
think so.
interesting thing is
We
that,
had a knotweed tour that Bob Thompson led.
Oh, so you went on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Well,
go ahead.
oh, just the interesting point was that a family saw the truck go up, spray above, not at the Spruce Brook intersection with the bridge, and they went down, sprayed, and were gone. And so another pass came through, they got sprayed at a different time, because they were
Yeah,
there.
I'm not
when
aware.
And I was there when they sprayed above it.
Yeah.
And I watched them go down and leave the neighborhood, so that's what they said. Who
Who's the
specifically
nighttime
sprayed
spray?
this one?
Who's the
Yeah.
nighttime?
So it'd be
Yeah.
interesting if there's any,
Yeah.
if they have to,
Yeah, I
have
know.
paperwork or,
Guys with balaclava.
That's all I do know is if it's your own property, you can spray all you want.
right.
So the spraying and the root pulling are the two.
Two methods that somewhat work.
The spraying.
Spraying is riskier.
But spraying
Right.
is really the effective one.
Well, it's
Right.
it's Roundup, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
I've used it over here, I've been fighting it for years with Roundup, and it comes from the town property onto my property, and I've been beating it back onto town property for years. And if I keep on top of it, it works, and other stuff grows in, but you wait 2-3 years, it starts going back in.
Right, well, what if that's because you can't spray it far enough back?
Right, I'd have to.
kill out the root system, but if the entire section was sprayed, what's the outcome?
It might
does
kill
come
it.
back, or it does?
I
I mean, I think what they're trying to do right now is sort
Determine.
of determine if it's effective, because it seems pretty foolish if you're gonna have to spray every 2 years. I mean, because then you have to factor in that expense of,
It's,
plus the
it's
the runoff.
thousands. Yeah, it's
You
thousands.
know, and that was our feeling, was that, is it really worth the money if we're gonna have to do this every, like, what if it keeps coming up all over the place? Where do you draw the line? If you do it every 3 years? It's kind of,
Well, if you don't do anything, you know,
And lastly, I
it takes over.
get publications in the mail for us. I think I'm just going to leave things like this here for anyone to pick up. But this is a good one. It's the Invasive Species Guide. That's actually helpful.
We got that last year also?
Yeah, they send it out. This is a 2011 edition, so it's not a new edition. And then, I don't know why, but the University of New Hampshire has sent us the complete history and economics of the dairy industry if anyone wants to brush up. And, you know, I think we're good. Anyone have anything else?
No, let's just look for that now, these guys.
Good. Adjourn? That's it, eh?
I vote for
I
ended.
vote
I vote for ending.
Yeah, I brought it with me. It's in my
What was the name of the other one?
car.
Who was here?
Penny Davis and, I'm sorry, Penny Miller and,
No, I was just telling her I brought
Does she
it.
work at the EMC too?
yeah,
Well, I know Penny did. I know Penny does.
That's her sister.
yeah, Nancy Davis.
Okay, I recognize. I know Penny. but
When
I
did
didn't know
Nancy start working up at?
I first talked to her.
So this is for your benefit.
Recently, she does something in billing. She works next to the.
Look at this.
Yes.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
These are the maps.
Yeah,
That's right.
This is,
There was a,
Colored ones are.
this is the
Hank, is that
lower
off?
Jackson, the southern half,
I'm just
southern half.